Hi everyone, we're Group 5, and today Peter, Jason, and I will be talking about California wildfires and the cause and effect it has on human health. Moving on to our thesis statement, we believe climate change is the main instigator of the increase in wildfires. In the future, wildfires is going to get worse, and we can expect a sizable number of population to suffer from serious health effects from the degraded air quality caused by wildfire smoke. To really understand our topic, I will be defining what a wildfire and climate change is. What are wildfires? Wildfires are large destructive fires that spread quickly over woodland or brush. Wildfires can be caused by an accumulation of dead matter such as leaves, twigs, and trees. This can create enough heat in some instances to spontaneously combust and ignite the surrounding areas. Other factors are lightning, equipment use and malfunction, vehicle crashes and engine sparks, arson, and discarded cigarettes. Next is what is climate change? Climate change is a long-term change in the average weather patterns that can come to define Earth's local, regional, and global climates. Climate change is caused by burning fossil fuels such as oil, gas, and coal, and when it's burnt, fossil fuels release carbon dioxide into the air, causing the planet to heat up. Also, another factor is human emissions of greenhouse gases. These results have a large-scale shifts in the weather patterns. Up next is going to be Peter.
Climate change and humans' roles in wildfire. Our group believes that these two factors have increased wildfires tremendously, if not tremendously, significantly throughout the past decades. According to a 2019 research paper called Observed Impacts of Anthropogenic Climate Change in California by A. Park Williams and other authors, they established a clear relationship between climate change and the increase of wildfires in California. They conducted a study between 1972 and 2018, and they saw that the total area or acres burned over the course of this study has increased 5 times. They also believe that humans are a factor in this increase because of how we're contributing to climate change by the buildup of fossil fuels as well as urbanization, pretty much innovation and how we're progressing as a society. While we're building up to this climate change induces increase in vapor pressure deficit, which means that the aridity, which is a measure of aridity of the air. Arid air dries out forest litters such as dead trees, leaves, and branches, and reduces precipitation and other snowpack or snowfall or any other type of process that would enrich soils or the environment, which would lead to drier soils, and drier soils are a higher chance of promoting larger wildfires and increasing them, and they're easier for them to start in drier soils in areas like this. This is a diagram of the Western wildfires and climate change. We can see that climate change is driving up temperatures, which tends to increase wildfires. We can see that as temperatures are rising, snow melts faster and forests become drier for a longer period of time, and the conditions are primed for wildland ignition and spread, which is going to be harder to probably manage and control in the future. And because of this, wildfires are becoming a public concern, not just to age groups that would be vulnerable to this, like with existing respiratory or cardiovascular health effects, no matter what age group they are, but also age groups such as children who may be healthy, elderly individuals who maybe have other health effects but are developing difficulty breathing or other potential health effects from wildfire exposure. And pregnant women are also vulnerable or a high risk category from developing certain health effects from wildfires. And then here we can see the visibility range in miles of wildfires, and then how unhealthy and healthy it is or moderate the exposure is to the wildfires, depending on where you're located from a wildfire. As an example, we personally in California have experienced recently in the past few months wildfires, and I'm sure We could all recall like the air quality wasn't as good, and we can probably refer to this and then see how far the miles the fire away was, which would be the reason being for the bad air quality in our region. Environmental sustainability for wildfires. In the article, the normal fire environment modeling environmental suitability for large forest fires using past, present, and future climate normals by Raymond Davis and other authors conducts a study from Washington and Oregon about the occurrence of large forest fires within the Pacific Northwest region of the United States, which is more focused on the west part, California, Oregon, Washington, mostly our coast, and then a little bit more inland. The authors used large forest wildfire occurrences data and other models to understand the changing climatic conditions of geography on the geography of fire. Results indicate that climate change is a factor in the environment's suitable in the environment's suitability for large wildfire occurrences. So we can point out two articles or two sources already that have information acknowledging that climate change is a factor for the spread of wildfires, and it leads to probably more increasing wildfires into the future. And then again, the results indicate that it's a factor. And then the Pacific Northwest forests with fire season environments are more likely to have an increase in wildfire occurrences. This is because our area or the Northwest is vulnerable to wildfires. So climate change and humans' roles will increase the wildfire occurrences if nothing is done to manage it or find any way to stabilize it. And then this is just a diagram of significant wildfire potential outlook from October 2020. So we can see that our area right here is for sure above normal, and we've experienced it firsthand in the past few months. And then we could see up here in Northern California, that area as well has become very susceptible to potential wildfires. And then Hawaii is also beginning to be very vulnerable and susceptible to wildfires as well. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jason Haller, and I'm going to be reviewing our research questions and what we found. So the first research question was, what is causing the increase in wildfire severity and frequency? What we found was that while there may be other contributing factors, climate change is mainly responsible for the increase in severity and frequency of wildfire in California. How? Well, warmer temperatures contribute to the drying out of fuels. Fuels consist of dead trees, branches, leaves, and other forest litter. And their presence in large quantities can really help make a fire hotter and contribute to its spread. And this is how we get these huge, huge wildfires when there's lots of fuel on the forest floor. What is the future of wildfire in California? Well, we can expect wildfire will become much more common as climate change continues. More forested land will become more suitable for large wildfire. How does wildfire affect people's health? Wildfire can cause serious health conditions and make existing conditions worse. Children and pregnant women are a particular concern here. Children spend a lot more time outside, and you can expect them to get repeated exposure when wildfire smoke is in the air. If wildfire continues to become more common, our choices become more limited. People will either have to simply expose themselves to toxic wildfire smoke or simply stay indoors. And the pandemic has already shown us the negative effects that can result from having to be confined inside all day. We have some suggestions for future research. We think it would be beneficial for long-term longitudinal studies on the effects of wildfire smoke on populations, especially children. We also need more research on how to develop better fire management practices and policy. We know climate change will get worse. So how do we stop fires from starting in the first place? So where do we go from here? This doesn't have to happen. What we need to do is, one, either try to curb climate change itself, and barring that, if we can't make that happen, if we want to have beautiful forests like this, if we want healthy children, we need to implement better fire management policies. Otherwise, this would just be a smoking ruin. I'm Jason Haller. This has been Group 5's presentation. Thank you.